What's up, people? This is an exclusive broadcast. Very important information to talk about right here. It's going to blow some minds. Gonna wait for some people to join. It's a little cold out here. This is going to be a very exclusive broadcast, everybody. Very interesting information, mind-blowing information to talk about right now. And I want to say good morning, first of all, to everybody. Wow, there was a huge storm in this area. You could see trees, everything, branches everywhere. It wasn't that big of a storm, but it was rain and power outages and all of this. And we're going to be getting deep into, wow. What's up with that? This tree looks like it's growing out of the ground, this root. What the hell? Wow, that branch, that tree was just split in half by something, by lightning or something. That's weird. So, first off, everybody, before I get into my experience with what I gotta say had to have been what religions call Archangel Michael. Wow, the wind is picking up as soon as I started talking. First, let's talk about a very interesting subject that needs to be more examined, that I've brought up before. And the Mary that I'm about to show you, I've showed you before, the big Mary, big 50-foot Mary, the Madonna, even the Black Madonna. First, let's talk about the Black Madonna for a moment. Now, people have seen different portrayals of the Virgin Mary, or the Black Madonna, or the Madonna, or the goddess Diana, Artemis, Isis. All of these can be considered almost the same being. And I know that they put the Virgin Mary as the mother of Christ, so it's like a different view to some Catholics, but the embodiment of this woman type goddess is not just from the Mother of Mary. This is very ancient. It goes all the way back to Isis, all the way back to Diana and Artemis. All of these beings are different aspects of the ancients. And just maybe Christ was born like sort of like a Perseus type character, you know, part of the ancients and part human. And just maybe that Mary was chosen. You know, Mary had the DNA of the ancients, and she was chosen. But let's get off of that subject for a moment, and I wanted to really talk about the Black Madonna before I go into my Archangel Michael experience and the crushing of the serpent, because there's so many spiritual signs and coincidences here that we're going to talk about that it can't be coincidence. First, let me talk about the Black Madonna. Now, we have different aspects of the Black Madonna. There's even one in Italy, a statue of one in Italy, but there's a connection that I've talked about, you know, before, but there's a lot of new subscribers, and this is a whole new branch of what's taking place. The Catholics have used and turned the aspect of the goddess Diana into the Virgin Mary, and they are using a certain aspect of the goddess energy to convert the masses, to convert people through miracles, through resurrections of the dead, and through what's coming out of the throat energy center. The power of words, the power of spoken chants, the power of prayer, the power of mantras is all connected to the throat. Now we're going to be examining something that cannot be coincidence. That cannot be coincidence. It's just impossible to be coincidence, and it has to do with our throat area, the goddess energy, and the power of prayer, the power of mantra, the power to hypnotize the masses and convert the masses to harvest souls. This is a very important broadcast that you don't want to miss, everybody. So smash that like button, subscribe, and we're going to go deep into it right now. Now, if you've never heard of the Black Madonna, there's a famous Black Madonna in Poland. I think it's Czestochowa, Poland. Now, in World War II, pilots would keep pictures of the Black Madonna in their cockpit. That's how important it was, and how embedded it is in Poland, in prayer, in ritual for the goddess to save you, to heal you, to resurrect you, and to harvest and protect your soul. In Poland, let's examine how the throat area is connected to the Black Madonna. Now, and the Madonna just in general. Now, the Black Madonna in Poland is a very mysterious picture, all right? Very mysterious. Now, they have mysterious... Hey, what's up, guys, in the chat room? Now, the one in Poland is a mysterious, just almost as mysterious as the Virgin of Guadalupe that we're going to be getting into. What's up, Scott? So, if you guys have never seen or heard about the... Here, I'm going to give you guys some better imagery than looking at my face. If you guys have never heard of the imagery, or just in general of the one in Poland, of the Our Lady of Czestochowa, very, very interesting. So, I think it's in Nuncio, Poland, and Pope Pius, I think the Pope Pius the 11th was one of the ones that really started to have copies of this image and even placed it in the Vatican Chapel as sort of like a memento of when he spent time in Poland. And very interesting, because like I mentioned before, Polish pilots that were with the British Royal Air Force, they actually kept an image of this sort of like goddess of their native land in their bomber squadrons, right? Literally in the hangar of their bomber squadron. Now, the Madonna's face is dark in this picture. It's often called the Black Madonna because of this. But what I want to get on is the mysterious scars, and I'm going to be showing you a Black Madonna right here in person today with mysterious marks on their throat, on her throat area right here in front of us. Now, the Black Madonna has, in Poland, in Czestochowa, has mysterious scars. In fact, 2 scars. And in the year 1430, a swordsman of what the Catholics call a heretical sect is the Hussites. I think it's spelled Hussites. Hussitites or something. Now right now I am at a Catholic retreat center. This is my spiritual place that I go. In fact, I have a little spot here that I don't tell anybody about, that I go and meditate on. This is thousands and thousands of acres of woods and retreat center. In fact, they have the Fey forests right here on site that I have had Fey encounters with, and encounters with the other world that came literally out of the hollow of a tree. And I have it on video, I have it on camera, you can find it on my Patreon. Now what you see in the distance there is a 60-foot tall Black Madonna. Right there. You see the big giant goddess right there? That is the Madonna. It is the Black Madonna. But let's not get ahead of ourselves right now, because I've showed this before, but we're gonna go deep right now. Now, in 1430, Hussite, yeah, exactly. In 1430, there was a swordsman that slashed the picture of the Black Madonna in Poland. Slashed it on the throat. Now, there's a scar, not only on I don't know if he slashed the throat, but he slashed the picture. But there is also a second. Yeah, well, www, yes, is the World Wide Web in the chat room, and that is the Vav. If you look on my Patreon, I have a whole article about that. The Vav is equivalent to W in Kabbalah and Hebrew. And the Vav is also equivalent to the Ruach, which is the living spirit, the divine spirit, the breath of life, who gives you divine inspiration. So www is a divine inspiration, literally, that's controlling your thoughts and giving you thoughts. It's the World Wide Web. It's the Ruach of Kabbalah, of Hebrew. It's science and spirituality has been entwined through Kabbalah. So let's not get into that real quick. I want to stay on to what we're going through. But besides the 1430, good morning, Spartan. Besides the slash of the swordsman in the year 1430 of the Black Madonna, there's also another mysterious scar on the Black Madonna from a Tartar's arrow. Now, this cannot be a coincidence, because we have some of the same experiences with a Tartar's arrow from the Virgin of Guadalupe. And we're going to be getting into this. So this Tartar's arrow went right through the throat when it was in a certain castle. And when an artist tried to retouch the portrait and take away this scar, it always mysteriously came back on this portrait. The scar would always reappear on this portrait. So what is taking place here? Some sort of spiritual encounter, some sort of spiritual experience that we're talking about. Wow. Look what just fell out of my pocket. I had a picture from me and my cousin when we were little. Forgot this was even in my jacket pocket. I'm on the right, my cousin's on the left. Look like we're really enjoying those sandwiches. That's weird that came out right now. I just saw my cousin the other day, so I had this in my pocket. Well, anyway, so whenever an artist would try to touch up the throat of the Black Madonna portrait in Poland, the scar would mysteriously come back. The scar from the Tartar's arrow, from a castle invasion back in the day, right? So now, I don't know if anybody has heard of the tale of the Virgin of Guadalupe, the story of the Virgin Guadalupe, but this was in 1531, if I'm not mistaken. And in 1531, the very amazing encounter with the Madonna, or the goddess Diana, or the Virgin Mary, whatever you want to call her, she enchanted and had a mystical experience with Juan Diego in 1531. And he was like a native to that land, almost like an Aztec or something like that. He was a native. And in 1531, he was enchanted to go up a hill, and he saw roses that shouldn't have been blooming at that time of year on the barren hillside, all sorts of things. And he heard a mystical voice calling him, singing, calling him Juanito, come here Juanito, and talking to him in his native tongue. And he has this whole encounter where he takes his tilma off, and his tilma, a tilma is like a cape-like, very cheap, coarse material that they wore as a coat, but it's more like a cape. And the Aztecs would wear that, you know, as a coat back in the day. So he took off his tilma and received a whole bunch of roses from her that were not supposed to be in bloom at the time. And he brought it down, and she said that she wanted a church built to her on that spot, and he didn't think the bishop would believe him. So she gave him these roses, and he put the roses in his tilma, and he goes to bring them to the bishop. And when he brings them to the bishop, the roses come out of the tilma, and there's this beautiful portrait of almost like a photograph that was imprinted on his tilma of the Madonna. Now, forget about the mysterious eyes of this portrait that has a reflective image of the people that were there at the time of the unveiling. No artist can duplicate this. No artist can explain the eyes of the Virgin of Guadalupe on the tilma. The tilma is still there in the church today. It's been touched up sometimes, but it's miraculously still on that tilma that should have been degraded by now. It should have like turned to dust, basically, this material. It's made from like cactus, some sort of cactus material. Now, what you stand before you is another version of the Black Madonna. But let's first talk about, and before I go on, let me remind you that the Poland Lady of Czestochowa, that picture, people have been resurrected from the dead because of that monument. People have been brought back from the brinks of death from praying to that portrait. The same thing with the Virgin of Guadalupe. Now, they had a huge parade to commemorate Juan Diego's encounter. And they had the Virgin of Guadalupe on the tilma out there, and they were having a huge parade. Now, during this parade, there was a whole bunch of celebrations going on, and there was Tartars there as well. And in celebration, they were shooting their arrows in the air. Now, they say by mistake, somebody was shot right through the throat, fatally, from a Tartar's arrow. Now, they literally brought that person in front of the tilma, in front of the Virgin of Guadalupe portrait, and they prayed to the Madonna, and he was literally brought back to life from the dead. The wound was healed, sealed up, and he lived because of that. Now, standing before you right here is another version of the Black Madonna. Now, curiously, I am the only one in the world who has made this discovery. Now, if you look closely, I don't know if I could see it here because of the reflection of the sun, but I have pictures of it. If you look close on this Madonna, on her throat, is a pentagram right on her throat in the same exact spot where a Tartar went through on the Black Madonna and the Virgin of Guadalupe. Now, she is literally like a Black Madonna. You could see she's dark. Her face are like crying the black tears of Ishtar. Can't you see her throat area? Literally has a pentagram on it. Can you see? It's faded, but it's there. Look at it. It's faded, but it's clearly a pentagram, a circle with a star. And you need a camera, you need to zoom in close to see it. I have better pictures of it, but this is the Madonna. This is the Black Madonna. This cannot be a coincidence, ladies and gentlemen. Coincidences like that don't exist. So I come see, this is called the Rosary Madonna. Right here. And she's standing. She's 48 feet high, but with the star-based platform that she's on, it's way over 50, 60 feet. And you can see that there is no coincidence here. Now, so I get to thinking, what is the connection here between the throat area and the Black Madonna and the Madonna, right? And then I start thinking, well, the throat is where you got speech from. The throat is where you get the power of words, where you get your mantras from, where you get your prayers from. And then we have all these specific prayers and mantras that we do. We have like the gloryful mysteries, the sorryful mysteries, all of these mantras that come from the throat to the Madonna. That is a great connection there that we can't overlook. There's got to be a reason why. Now, people were resurrected from the dead from this. And then we come to this amazing coincidence as well, right? An aspect of the goddess, whether you call her the Madonna, whether you call her the Queen of the Heavens, the Queen of the Witches, the Queen of the Fae, whether you call whatever you want to call her, an aspect of the goddess is with a bow and arrow, right? Always Diana is pictured with the bow and arrow. Now that cannot be a coincidence. Now if they were using the wrong aspect of the goddess, maybe she was invoked and using her arrow to strike people dead and resurrect. So maybe they invoked her to cause these miracles, to cause someone to be shot in the throat with an arrow so she can resurrect them from the dead. Because what happens after these resurrections? Hundreds of thousands of people are converted to the faith. Hundreds of thousands of people are baptized after they witness this. All of Mexico was converted to Catholicism because of this experience in 1531. All of Mexico pretty much was converted. Still to this day, you can drive around any town that has a Mexican community and you will see Virgin of Guadalupe on the back of cars, Virgin of Guadalupe on bumper stickers, on shirts, on everywhere. It is an image that has been ingrained in the humanity and has converted millions of people over time. Now, this is a powerful invocation, a powerful aspect of the goddess. And this is what the resurrection voodoo has been used for in Catholicism and many other cultures. Now, that is mind-blowing information right there. And what you just witnessed is one of a few Black Madonnas that I have found that are connected to resurrections from the dead and an arrow through the throat. Now, why would a pentagram be traced on her throat area all the way up in the air like that, where the average man will never find? I am the only one that's ever reported about seeing that pentagram there. And, once a year, the priests have a fire truck come here, and they go up on the ladder of the fire truck to crown her with flowers. Now, so they do have access to the throat area up there. And it's quite possible that pentagram was traced many, many decades ago when it was first put up on here. And not only that, but there has been satanic rituals in the woods here. When I was a kid, I went to nursery school on these grounds. I'm intimately connected with this place. When I was a kid, we found a black and tan German Shepherd and a white German Shepherd hanging from chains, dead in the woods over here. And I ran to my mother and reported it. She had the sheriffs come, and it was there was all cornfields there at the time. It was right in the cornfields. So there is known satanic rituals that took place on these grounds, and this is a very spiritual area in many ways. Now, let me go a little further into my experiences. Now, the other night, for the first time in my life, I actually saw an angelic creature in this physical realm. And I've seen similar creatures in the astral. I've seen similar creatures in dream time, things like this, but never on this physical realm. And it's my understanding that it caused a power outage in 12 towns in this county after that. And it took them a while to restore the power. Some of them still haven't been restored, But the other night, it was storming really bad, very, very bad. And I went outside to clear some of the debris that was falling onto my car and onto the driveway and in front of the house where I'm staying. And, I want to apologize to everybody because it's been very hard for me lately. Me, my wife, and daughter, we're trying to get our own apartment, and we're stuck at my mother-in-law's right now, so it's pretty rough. And my wife, I got to give her a lot of credit. She's been really doing a lot, and we've both been doing a lot. And I've been under spiritual attack lately. I've been using all of my power to keep myself and my family protected, and it's been very trying. I'm just starting to feel better now, and I think it is because of my experience. And I have protection, and I was known. They were letting me know I have protection. And my spiritual mama, Lori Bruno, she has a very interesting connection with Archangel Michael. In fact, when she was a little bit younger, she's getting a little bit old in age now, so I don't really think it's a good idea for her to be doing clearings of houses. This is something that I have done before. I have actually assisted in exorcisms before. And in fact, I've talked to bishops before. They actually, they've asked me some of my methods of exorcism and how I would approach exorcisms because they were curious about it. And I was invited to go to an exorcism class in Italy, but I couldn't go. I had recently just had a baby, and I couldn't leave the family. But myself and my ancestors have been intimately involved with the Roman Catholic Church, the old church. Not all of Roman Catholicism is bad. In fact, it was derived from Strega traditions. It's the new Vatican II Council that has corrupted most everything, and some of the Jesuits. And we're going to be getting into that tomorrow night on my show with Gary Wayne. I mean, the Jesuits, in my opinion, killed John Paul I. Poisoned him, killed him, because he was about to let the cat out of the bag about the Jesuits. But that's a whole nother story. So let me show you what took place before I give you my description of my encounter of Archangel Michael. Now, right before the storm happened, I was here at this spot that we see right here today. I was at the Mary. I was saying a prayer right here at the Black Madonna. At the Madonna, I was saying a prayer here. And right at the foot of this huge Mary statue, I'm going to take another lap around so we go. And I only got 15% left on my battery on my phone. My phone's not charging right. I got to get a new phone soon. I just don't got the money yet. My phone doesn't charge well, so that's on a long list of things I need, like a computer, all sorts of things. So, but taking care of the baby is my first priority, so most of my money goes to that. And I just had to fix my car, so I don't want to be crying about finances. This is not the platform for that. But I'm just letting you guys know, sometimes my quality of video might be messed up. It's because I don't have that great of a camera right now or phone. But it's all good. It's all good. You're all hearing it, right? So what's very interesting is before the storm took place, and it was in the middle of the storm that I saw Archangel Michael, or what could be described as Archangel Michael. Maybe that's not who Archangel Michael is. Maybe it's something else. But first of all, to show you that this can't be a coincidence, let me first show you what happened. I was at this Mary, and I noticed at the feet of the base here, people put little statues, people put little prayers, people put little things to be charged by the energy of the statue or the energy of the goddess. People put little portraits or statues or whatever in honor of certain things, right? So while I'm walking to it, let me first say, Lori Bruno, she was doing a clearing of a house years ago. And as soon as she walked in the house, she felt an evil presence. Now, this evil presence, oh my God, it's knocked over. This evil presence um, this evil presence picked her up off the ground while she entered this haunted house and put her up against the wall. And she said she couldn't even think. It just came to her without thinking. She didn't even like think about calling to Archangel Michael. It just came out of her mouth like divinely. While she was picked up by her throat and put up against the wall, she yelled, "Archangel Michael, protect me, save me." And she said instantly she was put back down on her feet, and the house was cleared. Now, she's been devoted to Archangel Michael ever since, and even has a church dedicated to him. But look at, so right before the storm, I came here and I put this statue of Archangel Michael here, right there. And this one's turned over right now. Look, beautiful statues of Archangel Michael. People had put these here, and I picked this one up, the smaller one up. It was right here. I had picked it up, looked at it, said a prayer, and I put it back here. Now this one was knocked over. So I said the prayer of Archangel Michael and I went back home, right? Then, within a few hours, horrible storm started, torrential downpour started, torrential rain started, and I heard the smashing of trees outside and all of this. So I go outside to clear the debris out of the way. And I felt like I saw a flash of light, which I thought might have been lightning or whatever. And it like lit, it was pitch black outside, but it lit up next to me, right? So while it lit up next to me, I looked behind myself, right? And when I looked behind myself, I saw a flash of an image. Hold on for a second. Good morning.
Morning.
How's it going?
Pretty good.
So I saw the flash of light, and I turned around, and for a literally split second, I saw what could have been 7 feet tall, 7 to 8 feet tall, maybe even taller, a big human. Like it looked like a human, but with perfect features and wet hair. It looked like dirty blonde, the wet hair. And he raised his wing. I could draw his face perfectly, and he looked like he had he looked like it was metal and like a peak combined. Like he raised his wings and spread his wings like in a split second and disappeared. And his hair was dripping wet, and there was like metallic wings that spread out really, and they looked metal, but they were shining like a peacock, like almost there was eyes inside of them. And it was like 7 feet to 8 feet tall. It was a split second that I saw him, very split second, and then it disappeared. And then like I started to feel better, and then like I started to get some gnosis about things. I started to remember, you know, I have a really bad bruised heel. I always thought it was from all my years working in the warehouse, and it possibly was, but I have a really bad bruised heel, really bad. Like it's very tender, very sensitive, and it won't go away. I've been trying to heal it for months. Now I got gnosis, and I all of a sudden, while I'm laying in bed after this encounter, I'm thinking about something, and I'm thinking about what happened months and months ago, like a year or so ago, my old job. I had this encounter with what the Slavics would call a Vadjanoi. Now, a Vadjanoi is a serpent-like being that can even take the form of a human sometimes, and connected to water and rain and rivers and lakes and portals. And they can look like they can have webbed feet or reddish eyes and all sorts of things, fat. They can even take the form of human and appear in towns sometimes. And they're a demonic manifestation, a sort of fae, a sort of spirit world being. And I was doing heavy research on this, and then one morning I came into my job, and I used to drive a high-low and a forklift. They're like warehouse heavy equipment that you drive. And I went to go step on my forklift, and I saw, which was like burned on my platform where I stand on, a footprint of what could be a vaginoid. It was a serpent footprint, like a weird footprint with weird webbed feet, and it was like almost smelt like sulfur or battery acid, and it was burned into my forklift, the platform. In fact, I have the picture up on my Patreon. If you scroll through my posts, it's on there. I have it somewhere, you know, on my computer too. I could find for you guys. But this footprint did not go away for over a year. It was etched into my forklift, and I had to stand on it with my left foot every day, like right where my foot would be in that footprint. And that same heel is the heel that's very tender and very hurt still to this day. My wife rubs like all sorts of stuff on it to try to help me heal it, but it won't heal. And then I thought about Archangel Michael and crushing the serpent with his foot, how the serpent bruised God's heel and Archangel Michael's heel from crushing the serpent with his foot. Now, these cannot be coincidences, my friends. These cannot be coincidences. Thank you for joining me. Please support me on my PayPal, and please support me at my Patreon. You get mind-blowing information. I have crystals available, tensor tools. This has been a very intriguing broadcast, mind-blowing information for you guys to think about. I want to thank you all, and Spiral out.